Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Kreuz alongside the top dog. A little more bite in that bark this week, Hanford. Happy Victory Monday.
Hey. You know, I can hold my head up. Well, I can hold my head up high a little bit, but yeah, there's a little bit of bark.
Maybe it wasn't the prettiest.
It wasn't, but there were some good things, a lot of bad things. We're gonna jump into it, and
well, first of all, why are you so spiffy today? You're really showing off.
well, I was waiting on you to say something and just give.
All buttoned?
Well,
hey man, like you're running. He's got two. Are the top two unbuttoned? Wow,
you know,
Mr. Suave.
Now you know how hard it is for me to turn red. You have me turning red over here, okay? And you know that's pretty hard for me to do. But yeah, you're right. I forgot. I'm co-chairing an event tonight, and it's called the Taste of the Browns.
Cool.
It will be myself and John Doss will be there from 5, and myself and Joe Batonio
Awesome.
will be the Joel is my co-host on this thing, and it's actually the biggest it's everything is going to benefit the Cleveland Food Bank.
Awesome.
And it's their biggest fundraiser of the year, and I didn't know everything that the food bank did. I got to give them a lot of credit. You know, I went down there and to their distribution center, and I mean the food that they give away to hungry kids and our neighbors and people in Northeast Ohio is just it's just unbelievable. So
they do a lot.
Yeah, they do a lot, and I just I didn't know that. But yeah, that's where I'm all spiffy, and this thing is going to be at the stadium, or the new name of the stadium. I won't say that unless they want to sponsor our show.
Oh,
and then
wow.
we'll give them.
I see where you're going with this, Mr. Sales Guy.
Yeah, we'll give them. So you know what I will. It's called Huntington Bank Field. So you execs from Huntington Bank. So
hey, I'm wearing their colors.
come on over. Gab and I tell them we're looking for another sponsor for our show. So I mean, what a great place to. But how was your week? How have you been so far? You good?
Pretty good. I mean, we're just on a Monday, and I shot another Cruisin' Cleveland segment. This one was with Austin Hedges. I know we'll talk a little bit about the Guardians later on.
Yeah.
And we're trying to clinch that AL Central. We're closing in. So yeah, I shot an interview with him. He's really fun. Actually, this would be funny to do with you once. So a little teaser here. I had Austin paint a picture of me, and I painted a picture of him, and we compared at the end, like who did a version that looks remotely like the other person. And let's just say it was very entertaining, and I would love to see you try to do that.
Well, I have to tell you this too. I was in I watched a game down in Garrettsville, Ohio. You ever been to Garrettsville?
I don't know. I don't think
so. It's I was down there, and all these people. It was fun. Obviously it was another fundraiser. The people at Daystar Ford, give them a little plug because they do a pretty good job down there. Plus they give me my car, so I got to give them a little plug. But where I was going with this was I cannot tell you how many people came up to me and they said they watch our show. And they watch our show on Big Play Network, Bally's, and then again, they had to tell me.
Download that Big Play app.
No, well, yeah, you need to download that. But I have to tell you what they said. They said, Hanford, you're okay. We like to watch you, but we really watch the show because of Gab. I mean, what the hell? I mean, what? I have to take that abuse for people all the time?
Wow, my hair days must be really improving over the course of our time together. Or something.
Oh.
Or maybe it's yours, Hanford.
Yeah, big game though, wasn't it?
Yes. All right, big game. I can't wait to get into it. Let's take a short break because we've got a special guest coming back with us once again this week. Thanks for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We're going to get into our Browns headlines brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. And if you're looking to update your home, you've really got to check them out. They've got furniture, kitchen cabinets, hot tubs, mattresses, and way more for a lot less than all those fancy stores, those expensive retail stores. And you can shop online at northeastfactorydirect.com or visit any of their stores in Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, or North Canton. And don't forget to ask about that Hanford Dixon bonus.
I thought you were going to forget, but you know what? Another thing about them, you know what they do? Sometimes they'll nick some furniture, scratch it or something, and then they would really make that a really big discount. So you got to go check them out. They're pretty good.
Most of the time you can barely even
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Nice steal there. Okay, let's get into those Browns headlines. Hanford, we've got a special guest we're about to bring in here, and I do want to know your thoughts, maybe the biggest difference between week 1 and now. We are bringing on Angry Ken. Last week probably justified all of the anger, but this week we're going to see how he's doing over there. You okay, Angry Ken?
Ken, you okay? You okay over there? I mean, you know.
I'm channeling my inner Deshaun Watson.
And I know why.
I'm sitting on the bench yesterday questioning myself in that horrendous throw in the fourth quarter with 1:30 to go when I'm sure the coach, hopefully, on a side note, I hope the coach told him, whatever you do, don't throw the ball there. And he threw the ball. And then luckily he made it out of there alive. And he was on the bench with a towel over his head going, I know they're going to bring this up on the Hanford Dixon show, and I'm just going to have to take my medicine. Hanford, Gab, what was that?
I'm sitting up here laughing because I know exactly where you're headed when I saw that towel over your head, because he did. He was sitting over there. He knew he had made a blunder with what he did. But you know who I blame? I blame him, but I also blame Kevin with that. Because you run there shouldn't even be any question marks there. Why put him in that position?
Exactly. There was 1:30 some seconds, Gab. And if they ran the ball there, Jacksonville, in fact, Peterson's on the hot seat over there because they were out of timeouts. And that clock would have been under 50 seconds. But by that incomplete, they had 1:26.
But I was shocked. I'm telling you, I was just absolutely shocked when I saw him attempt to throw the football and stop the clock, because you just don't do that. I mean, we're paying Stefanski a ton of money to be our head football coach. And Gab, you, Ken, myself, we could sit over here and know that we should have ran the football in that situation. So, but.
There were some people that, I know we like to play the blame game, and that's a big thing around here, but there were some people who really saved our butts, and I hope we get to that too. People who deserve a lot of credit. I'm talking about number 91 and also that guy with the big boot, Bojorquez.
Okay, and we'll get into that. But you know what, Hanford? You were talking about this. What was crazy about Deshaun Watson, Gab, yesterday, he started out so good. Hanford, How about that first drive?
I mean, it was unbelievable. The amount of time that we had to football, it was just crazy. I think he was 7 for 8 on that first drive, I think for 83 yards. We had the ball. We burned up 9 minutes and 14 seconds on that drive. I mean, that you could just look at their players on defense. They could hardly breathe. They needed to take a break, and I think they were just out of it. They couldn't take it anymore. So finally they say, hey, we're going to let them score. Yeah. And I know they didn't do this, but they say, we're going to let them score, and then we're just going to go sit on the bench for a little bit. But I'm telling you, that drive was unbelievable, and you're exactly right. I was see, that's why when I look at this whole thing and I look at Deshaun, I'm going to give him a little slack today, guys. I'm going to give him. I know it, kid. I know where you're headed.
But Hanford, okay, I want to give him slack, and he's graded down because of that last play. But that first drive, first of all, he's getting all kinds of receivers involved. In fact, he got I don't know how many different receivers caught passes yesterday. It was great. But Hanford, how could you look so different yesterday versus last week? And I get it. The Cowboys are a different defense than Jacksonville. But our offensive game plan was so different. It was different,
and I think one of the guys that we didn't get involved in the offense was God, what's his name? Number 2. I'm looking right. No, I'm looking right at it. Judy. No, Judy was there.
Judy was in there a lot.
No, I'm talking about who I think he only caught like 2 passes yesterday. he's an Alabama guy too. I can't. Well, anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. The other wide receiver, and but other than that, I mean, I thought he spreaded the ball around pretty good. I thought he hit his backs coming out of the backfield when he needed to, when we needed a few yards, and I think overall, I think he played pretty good. But you have to look at it, guys. I mean, he was. You're looking at a guy, Deshaun, I'm talking about, that was under a tremendous amount of pressure all last week. I think his father died or something last week. He had another lawsuit last week. And I'm not taking up for him or anything like that. I just thought he had a lot of pressure on him, and I thought with the pressure that he had on him, I thought he rose to the occasion. I thought he played a pretty decent game, and he needed a good game. His birthday, by the way, he had a birthday. I think he just turned 29 on Saturday. So
yeah,
sure,
a little bit of emotional roller coaster.
You know, Hanford, and I guess I'm going to throw it back. I played football at a very high level. I made it to 8th grade. And I can tell you, I took a lot of baggage from that failed math test into the game. But once I got that first hit under my belt, I forgot all about it. So are you telling me Deshaun for the whole game was worried about all that stuff? I can see at the beginning, but come on.
I don't think he was, but I think when you look at everything that he had to deal with, and when he hit a few passes and he was on a roll there for a little bit, I thought it took a lot of that stuff off his mind, and he was able to concentrate pretty much on football. I think you could see it if you saw him on certain plays. He was the old Deshaun. I'm talking about, when I say the old Deshaun, I'm talking about the old Deshaun that was in Houston. Because did you see him, like when he made a play, he was doing his little dancing, he was doing his little moves, the arrow he was used yesterday, and that's the old Deshaun. And guys, he was scrambling. He was a couple of times in the pocket. They should have had sacks on him. But he got out of there.
He got out of it. And you know what? I got to hand it to Gab, because she came in here. She goes, "How about that Jerry Jeudy?"
Yeah.
And one of the things, this is when you got to understand.
Amari Cooper, who I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Well, we said Amari
really
Cooper.
Well, okay.
I'm like, Elijah Moore's not too.
Yeah.
But this is where I really like that you brought up Jerry Jeudy, because when the play breaks down, your receivers have to help the quarterback out.
God, I love that
And you
guy
notice
already.
when he kept scrambling, Jeudy was the guy he was looking to. And that one throw with Jeudy toe tapped on the sideline was an amazing catch.
Well, you're talking about a guy from Alabama. I mean, you're talking about a guy who went to the University of Alabama. You're talking about a guy that was all world at the University of Alabama. And obviously, coming into the pros, we know this kid can play. But you are exactly right with Jerry Jeudy. I mean, he played an outstanding game. And you know what, guys? One of my keys to this game was I thought it was going to be very, very important for us to take some of that pressure off Deshaun. And the way we had to do that was being able to run the football. And obviously, we missed Nick Chubb. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We miss him dearly. But, guys, I think this kid, well, I call him a kid, Foreman, he played extremely well. I think Strong and Ford. I thought overall, as a team, I thought we ran the football very, very well. And when you are able to run the football, it takes a lot of pressure. I don't have to tell you guys, but it takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback, because then you can come at that set up your play action game, and then you could maybe attempt to hit some of those deep throws.
You know what, too, though? On those long drives, you tell us, I would think, again, I played at a high level 8th grade, we would get really tired out on the field. So now all of a sudden I got to tackle that guy coming through on the 7th, 8th, 10th play of a drive. I'm a little beat up.
It was funny. I was watching some of those plays, because I know as a defensive back, when you got those big backs coming at you back there, and we don't want to hit them anyway, Gab. We want to stay away from those guys. But you're right. When you're tired, I mean, it's a totally, totally different story. You really don't want to see those guys coming down there running at you. But I got to give these Cleveland Browns a lot of credit. I mean, again, they were able to win the ball game. So there's some things we're gonna dive in, though.
How do you think this game would have gone, or how influential do you think it was, Bohorquez and that punt?
Oh man.
That's what I was alluding to earlier with the boot, because this guy sent it. I couldn't have placed it in a better position, and then of course that sets up the safety.
Okay, I thought it was spectacular. But let me ask you, a little lucky, or is that skill?
Well, it's probably a little both, right?
A little both, but I got to hand it to him. He's a
to
good
be in the
punter.
to be in the ballpark of where that was,
Yeah.
Well, I want to say he was lucky because 9 out of 10 times where that ball hit right there,
it bounced right.
It bounced. That was like you hitting your wedge shot, kid. I mean, that was like you hitting your wedge shot, and I'm telling you, I'm your caddy on this particular day, and I'm telling you, kid, you need to hit it 120 yards, but make sure it doesn't back up.
Yeah.
But you know what he did? He hit that shot, and it bagged right. It was an excellent
And
punt.
a big difference maker. And you know what? How many times in the past have we seen the ball bounce the other way, not in our favor? Maybe this is our year. We need some breaks.
And what a great time to talk about that, because we got to talk about what happened after he punted that ball.
Well, speaking of breaks, let's take one right now. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We're talking about the things that did go right, okay? Even though we're a little angry about some things, but we're going the things that went Alex right, to be specific. What did you think about that?
Nice segue.
Let me tell you something. They bailed us out yesterday. I mean, well, the punt also bailed us out, but that sack, did it come at a great time? I mean, a great time. I mean, as far as and see, Trevor have to understand, he cannot take a sack in that situation.
I was going to say that.
He cannot
You think
take.
that we got Angry Ken
shocked.
here? Can you imagine Angry Ken down in Jacksonville?
You think a couple coaches going to be looking for a job pretty soon if that continues down there? But he can't take that sack.
Can't take that sack. He
I
took
was wondering the same thing. He
5
could've
steps back and then just throw the ball, do something.
Get rid of
it. Was
it.
like then he just gave up.
Because when you watch the whole thing, Miles flushed in. Miles was coming from the outside, and he wanted to step up to get away from Miles. But okay, that's okay. But you can't take that sack. As a quarterback, you have vision over the entire field, and you have to, he saw Alex coming at him, and you just throw that ball away and live for another day. But that was, on our part, that was a good
surprised.
thing.
Trevor Lawrence just didn't look good yesterday.
On top of it, they took the name of the stadium, which is Everbank, and put a giant T and R in front of it. The whole promotion was Trevor Bank Day. And
The Browns put an L. They were like Trevor L. You forgot
Trevor
the L.
L. Bank. But so that's why I'm like, you know what? How many times in my history of watching a Browns game does something like that happen where he leads them on a 98-yard drive, Hanford? Maybe you were part of one in your career with a guy who's trying to make himself as a name as a quarterback. But John Elway and Trevor Lawrence.
You know what I was going to say though. Those quarterbacks, they get special privileges. You know, they could have the stadium named after them. But boy, what a big play. You know what I wanted to tell you guys too? Guys, you've heard me talk about it over and over again, but JOK, listen to me. That boy is special.
Yes.
I mean, he is special. He's a smart player. You could tell he does a lot of studying for the game because he can tell you exactly what they're going to do before they do it, and you could see it in his play. You hear coaches all the time talking about playing fast. JOK plays fast, but you know who he's making better right now? He's making better the other linebacker, number 58, Jordan Hicks. Watch! Did you see Jordan Hicks?
Yes.
Now he's starting to come. He's coming to make plays, guys. This defense wasn't bad yesterday. Defense wasn't bad on the road because for a long time you're talking about Trevor, how bad he was. I think for a long time he had I think 60 yards. Well, except with that big one.
I was going to say. So what do you say to Newsom on that? How would you have covered that? And then it looked like you got a little bit of a shove.
But Greg's got to know better than that. Yeah, I mean, he's got to know better than that. I mean, you gotta ride him. You cannot let him put you in a position where you can't make a play on that ball. And I guarantee you, he'll be the first one to tell you that. I mean, he didn't have bad coverage. I mean, he did. But see, here's the thing that that we need to find out and understand. Why wasn't Denzel Ward in the game? If you notice, I don't know if you guys noticed, Denzel Ward wasn't in the game. He was out of the game, and Greg Newsome had to come on and play.
Should there have been safety help there?
I think they were in a man-to-man. No help in the middle.
Then if you're in man-to-man, you cannot get beat like that.
And one thing and when you have man-to-man, you can't let him on the inside of you.
I was going to say he was on the inside
because you have no help in there.
No help.
And
so that's why when he gave the forearm shiver and Newsome went like off stride.
Yeah.
And I thought also who played a great game. I thought Grant Delpit, our other safety. I thought he played a great game.
He did.
I thought he played a great game. He was all over the place. He was flying around. But overall, I thought our whole defense. I thought we played a strong game, and those guys were. I'm telling you, they were ready to go. It was just, and normally we don't play well on the road.
I was nice to see them with that intensity on the road.
But you know what? You talking about Grant Delpit? You know, he reminds me of Felix Wright.
Day. Yeah,
he does, because Felix would come up and close the gap. He would on the run. He was an all-around player. A lot of people forget that about Felix, but I see that. In fact, is Delpit 22?
No, I think he is.
All right, but anyway, he reminds me of Felix.
Yeah. I don't think he's 22. He might be, but I don't think he is. But he play. I don't care what number he is. He played. I don't care what number he is. He played. He played pretty good yesterday.
Oh, 22. Okay.
But is he 22? Okay, he does have Felix's number, because it's funny you mentioned Felix, because I can look at Felix and he can look at me, and we had that chemistry between each other, and he'll know that I'm getting ready to do something crazy where he's got to cover my back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to jump out, or I'm going to do something because of something I see, and then it's funny, we'll go to the sideline and we'll talk about it. But overall, we need to figure out why Denzel. Hopefully he's not hurt. But he was not in the game, guys, for a while there. I mean, he was Greg Newsome, obviously, who's our third corner, was out there in that slot a lot of the time. And if you listen to the game, they didn't say it on TV, but on the radio, they kept saying, "What's wrong with Denzel Ward? Where is Denzel Ward? Why is Denzel Ward not out there on the field?" So that was that's going to be a big question mark.
You know what? I know last week a lot of people were asking me what was the grade that I gave him on the Angry Ken, if you notice, Garage Beer anger meter. Yeah. And there's no question, it was a 10. We were so terrible. And so now people have been saying to me, and I've been following on social media, oh, you've got to change it. You got to have a great rating. So let's go to the Garage Beer Angry Ken meter. Is it a 1? Is he happy? Is he a 4? Is he a 7? Is he still really? No, you know what? I'm a 7. And here's why. I said it before. How did we look so bad the first week and come back?
Yeah.
And then how does that game even get that close at the end, as Gab was saying, that it comes down to a Hail Mary at the last second? For that reason, a 7. I was so worked up after the game yesterday. The only thing that settled me down was that Garage Beer with lime. I don't know if you guys have ever tried the Garage Beer with lime. If you haven't, I got to tell you, one went down so easy I had to call for the second one. And maybe that would have changed the meter, but no, I'm going to stick with the 7. But Garage Beer, try it out with the lime.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm a step ahead of you. I have tried it out, and I do like it, but I'm not drinking it with no damn lime. So you could keep your lime.
It's the flavor. It's actually the flavor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think I really should try that?
Yes,
give
you
it
should.
a shot. That would be something for one of our shows.
Cold though. I mean, I guarantee you. And this is, I'm just telling you the truth. If you try it, you will like it.
You will like it.
If you like beer, you'll like Garage Beer. So
yes. Well, guys, we won, and maybe we got some heart palpitations as well. You know, it's never great for our health to have it be coming down to the end like that, and holding our breaths. Like, I was working the Guardians game. There's a point in time I was like, we have this in the bag, but I don't know why I would ever think that. But then the poll started within the scoreboard room with like less than 2 minutes. Are we going to win this game?
Yeah.
Or are we not going to win this game?
And I'm going to say this, guys. I mean, and really, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it upsets me. I mean, because if we're going to be a good football team, we can't make mistakes that we made. We can't let games come down to that. We gotta, when we have a chance to put a team away, we have to put them away. There's no way that game should have been as close as it is. No way that game should have been close. And you have to give. We haven't talked about him yet, but we have to give our kicker.
I was going there.
We have to give him a lot of credit.
Yes. How good does it feel to have a kicker that's got a leg that can make him for 50 yards? I think he's got 10 straight over 50 yards. The only thing we got to work on him is understanding the rules on the new kickoff. Because how does he misses the penalty?
Can you believe he didn't know? Well, I think he knew the rule, but he just didn't know that before they touched the ball, that he had, is it the 50? He
Can't go across the 50.
Can't go across the 50, that he knew that, but boy, did you, well.
But you know what, he got those kicks, but I don't know if you remember that Jacksonville kicker off the uprights, he doinked one.
Yeah.
That was an important point of the game, and it was a 48-yarder. But there was a time when we couldn't even kick a 30-yard field goal, but I feel very good about our kicking situation, and special teams, got to hand it to him. Played a great game.
Are you guys as happy I am to get out of there with a win?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It was
1-1 is a lot better than 0-2.
Yeah, it was.
I was one in the scoreboard who I said, nope, guys, we're going to win this one. We are going to win this one. It's going to be a tight, but we're coming away with a dub. The other thing I was going to ask before we head to a break is, we talked about JOK being as brilliant as he is, and he's also as fashionable as he is, because he's always making a fashion statement. He really made a statement with that Guardian cap. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. He is a smart guy for this.
Well, I think the Guardian cap is a statement, but I won't go as far as to say his other attire is fashionable. But people.
What would it take to get you
Hanford
in one of those?
Okay, time out. Guys,
I think we might have to.
Guys, Hanford is wearing olive pants right now and blue and white pinstripe shirts. It's an interesting combo. I'm not saying you can't pull it off.
And the shoes?
Oh wow, those are slick.
Yeah. See that?
But you don't think some of JOK's really cool, colorful?
Well, I think it is for him. You know,
okay, you're
I
just
guess
saying you wouldn't pull.
Well,
it
you
off.
have to understand. I keep telling you like my daughter. So I'm the old man here. But maybe in my younger days, maybe I would.
I would
try
like to know if Hanford would have ever showed up in that.
Maybe I would, but I don't know. That's just
not in your time.
That's not me. That's not me. But we got to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about that.
All right, let's
helmet.
take a short break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon show, as we have dived into evaluating that Browns win over the weekend, and some things to be a little upset about, but then some people to get some credit.
Hold it. You know what? You have me over here since you said that about my colors. I am looking at my colors. I mean,
Your color scheme?
Why did you do that to me?
Hey, I'm just keeping you on your toes. I'm just giving you a hard time. You know you've got style. You know you've got a statement together.
That's all I wanted to hear.
It's
Gab.
his own
That's
look.
all I wanted to hear. Now you could carry on.
It's just a little less eccentric than JOK, okay?
But JOK wears some of. I mean, I don't know. You see him like sometimes you have a hat on and their color. I mean, you talk about real colors. These are colors.
You're gonna see that guy coming.
But you know what? As long as he played the way he's playing, he can wear whatever the hell he want to wear.
Yeah, and he's prepared for hard hits with that Guardian cap, which is why we're gonna do our Lipton hard iced tea hard hit of the game. Who you guys think had the hardest hit of the game?
Well, first of all, I got to say, I don't know who that angry guy was that was out there with the hood and the sunglasses running around with a towel, but I got out of his way. But, there was a lot of hard hits, but you were talking about JOK, Hanford, and I get it. And by the way, it looked a lot better than I thought, the way they made that orange. But would you ever wear one of those?
You know what, Ken? I think I would wear one if I was having if I was worried about concussions, and if I was having concussions at the rate that, let's just say, a Tua is having them, I would. I have to tell you, I'm really surprised that he's not the first guy to wear one protective headgear. Because Tua, man, I mean, he's seriously, what is this, like 6 or 5'6" or something like that with him?
Well, those are only the most significant ones, because all of the concussion research is so telling in all the short hits you take too. It's the accumulation of all the little knocks you take, and then the big knocks are the ones that really send you over.
Well, because as football players, I mean, we care first about your health, and we love the game, but your health is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, we've seen this all too often with these players. Years later, the problems. So Tua, I get it. You want to play right now, but let's think about your family a few years down the road.
Well, it's like try to tell Gab now. Sometimes she asked me, she said, Hanford, what did you? I said, I can't remember what I did yesterday. Talking about today, you know.
Well, I'm not going to throw any stones, but you didn't remember number 2 was Amari Cooper.
Right,
and you were certain that Grant Delpit wasn't 22.
Hey, and he's an Alabama guy, so, you know, I can't remember what I did yesterday. So,
But, Gab, you got that Lipton Hard Iced Tea in front of you. Who was your hard
Yeah.
hit from yesterday? There's a couple.
I'm feeling like I was just really jazzed about that safety, so I'm going to have to go with Alex Wright.
Alex Wright.
I mean, that's a terrible hit to take, is it not? So, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
big hit of the game. I don't know if it was the hardest hit, but that's a big hit right there. That's a big hit emotionally.
I think so.
well, I have to tell you, there was a few in the game, but the one that I'm going with, did you guys see Winston Reed on the kickoff?
Practice squad player.
I mean, did we just bring
Called him up just for yesterday's game.
just called him up for yesterday's game, and he's like, I am going to make an impression on someone in that front office, let them know I'm here and I'm here to stay. Listen to me. We heard it. I mean, it was a bop.
Yeah.
Just like that. I mean, he hit him, and did you see him separate the ball from this kid's body? I mean, the ball went flying this way, and his body went that way, and that could have been a big turnover.
Big play because we recovered it. And what was it? Bigsby?
Bigsby.
He was a little wobbly after
Yeah.
that.
Hey, I'm surprised he came back in the game.
I'm surprised.
The only reason why I know he came back in the game because they got him on another special team play. They called a flag on him, and he hit someone in the back.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I know he came back. I thought he was done.
Well, you know what? I saw this again. I can read lips. The coach went over there and he said to him, "Are you okay?" You know what he said? "Oh no, I'm going to be the Lipton hard hit of the play for the Hanford Dixon show."
Wow, you really had me in the first half there.
But I'll tell you guys this though. I've had a couple of those Lipton's hard hit before in my career, and meaning the concussions, because a couple of times I didn't know where I was. I mean, I always tell the story. I like to tell it when we were playing the Houston Oilers, and 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗡 came around that corner, and I hit him, and I knew as soon as I hit him, I knew I was hurt, and didn't know where I was, and I kept telling myself I had to go make it to the bench, and sure enough, I made it over on the bench. But the only problem, I was on their bench and not our bench, and then the coaches and the trainers and the doctors had to come get me and take me back over to our bench. But Ken, back then it was a different story. I mean, you know what they did with me then? They took me over there, and I gave me a little smelling sauce, and Gab, I was back in the game in a few plays. Yeah. I mean, you can't back then. You don't look the boys in the eye and tell them, "Hey, man, I can't go. I got a concussion." You got to get your butt back in that game. You got to play.
Yeah. Look, I can relate. I had a broken nose, concussion, and a coach said, "Get back in there." A little smelling salt again. High level 8th grade. By the way, it was flag football.
You got me before I said it. Was that the 8th grade?
Flag football, by the way.
Oh man!
But my hardest, the big hit for me was that Winston Reed.
Yeah.
I mean, Gab. I mean, he just, it was a big hit.
I'm going to give an honorable mention, too, on Myles Garrett. He had a big sack on Trevor Lawrence on a 3rd down play. It was key. Got them off the field. And, you look at the time, you're like, is this going to be a big play? That was a little bit of a momentum changer. So, but I got to go with the Alex Wright and that kid that nailed him on the kickoff.
What kid? See there? Now I gotta get you. See, you could
He said, remember what kid it was.
Winston Reed. You're like me. You can't.
You really don't think I know it was Willis Reed?
Winston Reed. We got to take a short break. We'll be back with more brain cells right after this. Thanks for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. A lot of craziness going around the AFC North, fellas. Where do we start? Where do you want to start?
I don't know, Hanford. You love the Ravens. They're 0-2. Are they done for the season?
Wait a minute. Let's get this straight, and I have to let everybody know I don't love the Ravens. I like my partner, my best friend, my buddy. Ozzy is with the Ravens, so that's why I like the Ravens.
I know, but right until they play the Browns.
But until they play the Browns, then we part ways there. But yeah, that was a crazy game. It was a football game. I'm surprised to see the Raiders winning that game because I think they had 12 or so unanswered points in the fourth quarter in order to come back and beat Baltimore. And Baltimore's defense has got to get on track. I mean, they're just obviously they have a lot of guys out. They have a lot of guys hurt. But they lost a game that I think they've lost more games when leading in the fourth quarter than any team in the National Football League. And I guarantee you when they go back and Harbaugh and the whole gang, when they go back and look at that tape and look at the film, they're going to be really, really upset. But it was a game I thought they should have won, a game they thought they should have won. And because the Ravens, I think for the first time, I think since 2012, 2013, 2013, 2012, somewhere around there, since they've started 0-2.
Hanford, in national media is saying the Baltimore fans are saying Harbaugh's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
I mean, because that is not good. And they go to Dallas.
Oh.
And now you're looking at 0-3. Then I think they got the Bengals. They're 0-4. And then I can't remember who the fifth one is. I think they're looking at an 0-5 start.
And you and I know Bisciotti, the team owner's not going to put up with that, man. I guarantee you, he's up. He's a little bit upset. But again,
Did you see the end of the game?
Yeah.
Did you see when Lamar ran that last play? Were you thinking, oh, no, he's going to pull it off?
If I were him, I would have kept running.
I
mean, because he tried to throw it behind him, and which was a good legal pass, but then the back who he threw it to, he threw a forward pass, and that's when they were dead.
Just to bring everybody up to speed, I think there was like 4 seconds to go. It was going to be a Hail Mary. It looked like it was about 50-yard line, 45-yard line. Instead of throwing it, he drops back. All the defenders rush to the end zone, and then he takes off, and then gets to the 50, then to the 40, then to the 30, and I'm like, oh, no, oh, no. But you're right. Instead of keeping going and maybe cutting, he threw a pass, and then because
the way a lot of defensive backs tackled today, his chances would have been greater of just continuing trying to run through those guys. So, but I know we talked about the Ravens too long. I could tell you getting.
Oh no, we got time.
I could tell you.
Pat's got us on a schedule, but hey, we do want to take a look at the Bengals.
Another good one. 0-2 Bengals.
Oh my goodness! And you know what? The Bengals are one team that play Kansas City well. I mean, they play the Kansas City Chiefs well, and throughout that whole game, the way that whole game was going, it was kind of favoring the Cincinnati Bengals. And even though they were playing them in Kansas City, I thought the Bengals had a legitimate shot at that game.
You know what? Maybe this is cruel, but I don't think so. And I think there's a lot of fans in Cleveland that feel the same way I do. You love the other team having misery, and I love Joe Burrow when he thought that they broke it up on the last play, and Burrow's hands are up. He thinks he got the win. Next thing you know, there's a flag for pass interference. Oh, no. The Chiefs are going to come in and kick the field goal. Oh, no. Butner from like 50 yards. It's up. It's good. And you just see Joe Burrow dejectedly walking off the field. I think the only person happier than me was my sister-in-law, Angry Nancy, who lives down there. She's a Browns fan, but she can't stand the Bengals, and the rest of her family loves them. That was horrible.
I was happy too. But I actually like Joe Burrow. I actually like him.
You do kind of have a bro crush on
Burrow. I like him, but I don't like him I will go that far now. I like him, but because he's an Ohio kid. Yeah. He's from Ohio, but he just
Look, I think maybe one of the
reasons. Chase need to just shut up and play ball.
I was going to ask you about that. Hanford, Gab, did you see this? Chase Young. In fact, the guy's holding out. He's been a terrible teammate, I think, all along. Not even going to practice, showing up. Talk about a diva. And then, I don't know if you saw it, he cost them like a major penalty because the ref took it. First of all, he thought he got interfered with himself. Started screaming at the ref.
Yeah.
Good job by the ref. Gave him some leeway.
He showed some restraint.
He said, The ref gave him some leeway. He said, okay, that's enough. He came back a second time. The ref, one more chance. And then he kept jawing at him in 15 yards. And Burrow tried to get in his
grabbed
face.
him and tried to take him away.
Hanford, if you're in the locker room,
I
do you
missed
go
this.
up to somebody?
Oh, no question. No question.
Yeah, it's
no question.
Unbelievable.
I mean, because that was totally.
That cost him the
You're
game.
costing the team, yeah.
And now they're 0-2.
Now they're 0-2, but Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, the
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
I knew you was
Steelers.
getting there. I know it.
I gotta say, as much as I can't stand the Steelers, I do respect Mike Tomlin. And I don't know, that quarterback, Justin Fields, somehow got it done again yesterday.
Well, I got to ask you guys this, and first of all, I'll tell you how I feel about it. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Obviously, Justin Fields now, he's taken advantage of that calf injury that Russell Wilson's have, and he's won 2 ball games. I think personally, it's hard to make a change right now.
I don't think you can make a change right now.
Yeah.
Because you're winning ball games,
winning
and
ball
you can't make that change right now. I would stick with Russell Wilson. I mean, definitely.
Justin-
and the Steelers right now,
Justin-
Steelers are 2-0, atop of the AFC North.
We've been talking about knocks in the heads. I'm going to tell you that's your third mess up. That was Justin Fields playing, not
Say-
Russell Wilson.
He knows.
Yeah, well, I know that. Well,
Yeah, we know you know, and yes.
Thank you, Gab. My partner's with
All
me
right, she
over
got
there.
you back.
But I'm telling you, man, you can't make that change right now.
Yeah.
You have to keep him in there.
Yeah, if you're
I didn't.
winning,
I
let
always
him
thought he was
milk the
good.
cow.
I
That's
thought
what Hanford
yeah.
said in
Oh,
one of
let
our
him milk
breaks.
the cow.
Hey, I thought he got a raw deal.
Yeah,
I thought he
Chicago.
got a raw deal in Chicago.
Yeah.
I really
They
do.
had no offensive line.
Because I like the kid.
I like him. I like him
Let
at
me
Ohio
ask you guys
State.
this: any games that surprised you guys yesterday? Any games, scores, or anything that? It was a crazy day.
We had the underdogs, and my underdog last week was I thought that the Raiders was no chance they were going to beat the Ravens, but we hammered that one to death. But how about San Francisco losing to Minnesota?
Yeah. And did you see that kid that just got that big Jefferson?
Yeah.
Man,
Hey, who's the quarterback? Arnold?
I don't even know his name, but he threw a 97-yard touchdown pass to
Sam
him.
Darnold. It was. He
Was
came
it a
from the
97-yarder he threw to him? Oh,
I
my.
think it's the franchise record. Sam Darnold. Think of all the quarterbacks for the Vikings.
My
And
goodness.
Sam Darnold, USC quarterback, busted the Jets.
Hey, guys, don't we love football? Don't we love football? Didn't we miss football when they wasn't playing?
It's always expecting the unexpected.
We got a lot more of the roller coaster ride.
Yeah. We got to get to our Survivor game right after this, actually. So
Who's leading?
we'll be back with Hanford. You know who's leading this.
Okay,
Hanford
okay.
Dixon show after this break. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon show. It's time for our Survivor game. This is a game that Ken put together, and it was quite a curveball our first week of playing, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Curveball. Let me remind the fans how it works. Survivor games. You know the rules. I think most of you. You pick a team. If that team loses, you're out, except in our case, you get 3 strikes before you're out. We all pick teams. At the end, the last person standing is going to get a $1,000 donation to charity of their choice from Big Play. Last week, Gab and I went with
The Ravens.
the Raiders.
No,
We're going to lose to the Ravens.
Yeah, that was our
And
underdog.
once again, the Ravens do me in. So now we get strike 1 for each of us. Hanford took the Browns.
So did Pat.
Patrick, our producer over there, took the Browns. So you guys are 1 win under your belt, and Gab and I have 1 strike. So this week, I'm going to go with the Browns beating the Giants. And not only do I have a chance to have my second strike on the line, but our marketing director, Layla Corey, and her family are huge Giants fans. We have a bet that if the Browns win, each of them has to wear a Browns jersey and get their picture taken and show it on the network, the Big Play Network. And if I lose, I'm going to have to come in here and wear a Giants jersey. So I'm taking the Browns. Gab.
Well, I was going to do that too, but the last time you and I synced up to pick the same Survivor, it didn't work in our favor. So I think I'm going to have to go with just looking at the lines here. The 49ers.
All right, 49ers, and lines don't come into play. It's straight up.
I know, but it gives me a
49ers
look at who's favored.
Look, I
so I'm
gotcha.
making an educated
I-
guess.
I got you.
I
Hanford.
am going to go with Baker Mayfield.
I
Believe
love
it
that
or not, Tampa Bay is
Baker.
they're playing Denver.
Yeah.
And so I'm going with Tampa Bay.
I love that pick. Producer Patrick.
Yes.
Yeah, guys, I'm going Titans over Green Bay Packers. I think Malik Willis finally gets a little bit of a revenge game. We'll kind of see what happens there, but I think the Titans get it done.
Okay, I'm not so
done.
sure about that one, but okay, I like it.
Said that last week, Ken.
I know, I said it last
Yes, we
week.
did,
Yeah.
Pat. Fair enough.
We got a big series.
All right. Oh, you're gonna go
We got
guards on us?
We
should talk guards, huh?
We got to talk guard. I mean, we got a big series
We
coming
got a
up.
chance to knock the Twins' chances of the playoffs out of the picture here.
And each day, each game with the win, I think our magic number just to make the playoffs now is going down
Oh,
and down.
yeah, the
What are we
playoffs
at? Like
won.
4? We're at 4 right now. So, and what about we need 12 or something?
Something,
I think
yeah.
it's
It's around
something like 12.
11. There's some, it's odd because other people got to lose and then we got to win.
But the
and
Twins,
like
we
that,
could
but-
just end their season this
Yeah.
week.
Yes.
Yeah, look, a sweep. I think a
Sweep.
sweep is
Yeah, let's
coming.
get
What do we have? 4 games?
4 games.
I think a
A
sweep
series
is coming.
sweep, and we'll bring the brooms out for next show.
Bring the brooms out.
Mackenzie Noel.
Oh, big Christmas.
Dog,
Big boy.
big
Big
Christmas. You know I like him.
Yeah, he was hustling the other. I don't know if you saw this
I
game, but
did.
he was
I did.
hustling.
He was
home.
safe.
He was safe.
safe. He
What are they?
was
What are
safe,
the?
guys.
What are they looking at there?
Yeah, we were replaying it at the ballpark, and the fans were going wild, and they just told him that he wasn't.
I think most people know. If you haven't been down to see the Guardians play, Gab Kreuz is on that.
Yes,
she's
she
on the
is.
big screen. She's
Yes,
the
she
hostess
is.
with the mostest over there, making it all happen for the Guardians. I think you're the good luck charm.
I want to be a good luck charm in the underdog game.
Some people
And for the
say
Guardians.
I'm no good. I'm crazy
That's
as
a
can
great
be.
rendition, really.
I
Thanks for
get
watching the
drunk
Hanford Dixon
in the
Show. We'll see you next week.
morning. I get stoned in the afternoon.